and it's beautiful because she makes it beautiful, and because she sees how amazing it is, other people want to join in. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing 4 feminine qualities that I've learned from 4 very amazing, beautiful, intelligent women in my life. One day I was just struck at how amazing my friends and family, these women are, and I realized, you know what, I'm gonna share this with the world. So that's what I do best. If you want to learn about this, I'm telling you, it's really good, from my grandmother to my mom to some friends, and they are all extremely different in different age, background, religion, all these different things, but they have some pretty amazing feminine qualities that I think all of us can learn from. So if you're interested in this video, then grab a blanket, maybe grab a little drinky drink, and look, I have my water up here, and let's get into it. This first feminine quality is coming from my grandmother, and this is number 1, always look your best. Now, my grandmother, like my grandma, from the top of her perfectly permed hair to the bottom of her soft, moisturized, pedicured toes, this woman is immaculate. Okay, and this is deeper than just, oh, she's beautiful and always has been, or oh, like women need to look good for men. Like, none of that. A little bit of backstory from my grandmother is she actually has had a very challenging life and survived things from immigrating to a new country, learning the language, working, raising a bajillion kids, a lot of children. I got a lot of aunts and uncles and tias and tios, and to surviving abusive relationships, to just doing what you gotta do, doing the best you can with what you got. So this is someone to me that exudes a lot of strength. Even though by looking at her, it's like, oh, she's an old lady, like how strong can she be? But just knowing the backstory of her life, you don't want to judge a book by its cover. So remember this when I tell you how much she takes care of her physical appearance, and not just because the surface level, and then how deep and strong she is internally, and how much character and beauty she has on the inside, which kind of makes me want to cry thinking about it. Whew, gotta do the best you can with what you got, and that's what I learned from my grandmama. So for part 1, I'm going to be telling you some things that I've learned from her over the years, just in terms of physical beauty and maintaining your outer appearance, that you guys might find interesting or will find interesting and might add to your routines. And I remember the moment that I realized my grandma, there's something unique about her in this sense, is when we were somewhere around like Thanksgiving or Christmas time with all my cousins and aunts and uncles, and we were just like, it's Christmas, it's cold outside, so we just have like leggings. I'm like permanently live in like Lululemon leggings and like a really cute hoodie or something, and sneakers, and my grandma is dressed up. Her hair is like perfectly permed and done with like a beautiful clip, and her clip has like jewels on it, and she has this like scarf with a brooch, like a scarf with a brooch. She has like a vest that's matching her shirt that matches her pants, and like, and because you know grandma's like comfortable shoes, so she's wearing Skechers that are the same color as her vest, so they match. Some like dangly, like beautiful earrings. She has her rings on, and this is like her sporty like morning with the family outfit, like nail polish, manicure, all of that. And I realized like she was sitting there just looking so cute, like just so feminine, like sitting at the chair. And I look around at my cousins and myself, because I'm not going to throw them under the bus. My cousins, my aunts and uncles and stuff, I was like, damn, my grandma's the best dressed person in the room. And I think all of us tied for last place, the rest of us. I was like, oh my gosh, like this is like the morning time, and this is not even like her outfit of the day for the holiday. This is like her morning, just, oh, I just got out of bed, right, kind of outfit. I'm like, dang, we look like trash compared to my grandma. She makes us look bad. So then that's when I realized, you know what? She actually takes a lot of pride in her appearance, and I could probably learn a thing or two from her. So if you don't have a woman in your life who's like this, then I'm going to share with you some things that she's taught me and passed down to me that I think would could probably help some of you guys out there if this is the type of information that you're looking for. First thing my grandma taught me is to add vitamin E oil to my cream or lotion. So she has cold cream. Remember, she came over one day, she's like, Becca, come here. So I went over there and she's like, mira, this is what you do. Pone like the vitamin E inside the crema and then you mix it. Mix. My grandma talks like mix. And pon it into skin and it's muy suave, muy suavecito. See, it's very soft. And put it on your elbows and your knees at night. And then she sprays perfume. So the vitamin E is a oil that helps I guess clear up scarring and like dark marks and stuff like that. So she adds it and so imagine like every single night you're adding your cold cream and moisturizing so you're really soft. But not only that, it's like a double whammy and by adding this vitamin E oil. So that's one thing my grandma taught me. The next thing is she does not go out of the house without her non-negotiables, which are lipstick. She always wears lipstick. She always has perfume. She always has her hair and her nails done. So this is something that is kind of hard to replicate unless this is really a habit of yours, but I will say that it does elevate your look a lot. So me personally, I like bare nails because I don't like the toxicity in nail polish or the toxicity in perfume. I opt for like a natural nail polish or like a natural perfume, and my hair usually smells good because my hair product, so that keeps me smelling fresh. But that is something that you may be interested in, maybe even always adding like a lip tint or a lip gloss. She also has an extensive collection of jewelry, was what I've noticed. Like it just hangs, like if you go into her room, it's just like jewelry organizers all over the place. Like she likes blingy stuff, so she likes like dangly earrings. I started wearing dangly earrings because of her, and like big rings and like necklaces and stuff. So find the jewelry style that works for you. Obviously I like more dainty jewelry like this, things that I can wear all the time, but she just loves the bling and it looks amazing on her, and she has an amazing collection. Sometimes too, when we go to her house, she'll be like, come here. She always goes, Becca, ven aquí. So we go over there, she's like, pick what you want. And then she's like, you can pick whatever you want. She lets you have it. So I have a lot of my grandmother's jewelry that she's given to me over the years. Side note, Auntie Flo is visiting. Shark Week, moon cycle, whatever you want to call it, and these cramps are cramping. She's so violent. So I have my heating pad here. This is like the best heating pad I've ever tried, so I'll link it down below if you guys are interested, but it basically massages you and it heats up. Okay, let's get into number 2. I'm getting to number 2, but let me tell you, number 4 is amazing, so make sure you stay tuned. Number 2 is something that I've gotten from my boyfriend's best friend's wife. Girl, you know who you are if you're watching this. There's so much that I could say about her, so many amazing things. Not only is she funny, beautiful, just such an amazing listener, but in this area, the biggest thing that struck me is her ability to build a nurturing home environment. I feel like this is a very feminine quality. So this is something that men love this, because not all people are blessed with this. Not all women are blessed with this ability, but this is something that she's done amazing at. Now this was apparent from probably the second time I met her and visited her house like a while back, but these things really stood out to me. So when you're a guest in someone's home, that's when you can really see like, is this a comfortable home or not? Because it may be comfortable to them, but if it's not comfortable to guests, then people aren't gonna wanna come to your house and hang out and have fun, right? So as a guest, and I'm someone who's stayed in a lot of places because I travel a lot, but when you come over to someone's house and they have like fresh towels for you, fresh blankets for you to sleep on. They offer you, are you thirsty? Here, like have some water, here's some snacks. And they're able to do that, then as a guest, you feel a lot more comfortable. If there's a place for your bags, a place for your shoes, all that kind of stuff. So one thing is like, I love going to visit her and visit their house because of that feeling. It's not only that she's like an amazing person, they're amazing people and funny me and we have great conversation stuff, but their home is so inviting. And I know for a fact from speaking to her that this is something that's been very intentional on her part. So I'm going to share some of the things that she shared with me that have helped me that I think will help some of you. She's an expert organizer. So she kind of like does this in her day job, but at home she has a place for everything. So even as a guest coming into the home, she has a place for you to put your shoes, a place for you to put your bag. If you go into her kitchen, it just makes organizational sense. So it's not like things are just shoved and dirty and gross, like shoved into the refrigerator, shoved like random pots and pans, but like it just makes sense. Like the cooking utensils are next to the stove. This might be amateur and elementary, but for me, I took note because does not come as first nature, second nature to me. But the cooking utensils are next to the stove. The forks and knives are by the plates. Like in her refrigerator, this is genius. But the stuff that she uses that they use the most in their house, the stuff that's going to expire more recently or that needs to be used, like leftover food and stuff like that, goes at the very top all the way down to what needs to be used last. So things that don't have like an early expiration date. So for example, if there's like some fruit and strawberries, you cut it up, that's going to go on the top because that's ready to eat now. Or if you have leftovers that you need to eat now, that's going to go on the top, compared to if you have like chicken that you're going to cook later on in the week, she'll put it at the bottom of their fridge. That's just an example of how organized she is. They have like an amazing little coffee bar, which makes it fun to get coffee and tea. As a guest, she has like full cupboards full of like I had started my period when I was there, which is always awkward to start at someone else's house and you don't have your period supplies with you. And then you have to like get a tampon, throw your tampon, like throw your pad wrapping paper like in the trash and everyone can see it. Like, no, it's not fun, it's not cute. So one thing that I let her know, hey, do you have any extra pads? She's like, yes, I do. Like, come check out my organization system for my period supplies. She's all excited to show me, and it made me really excited too to go check it out. And so she opens up the drawer and perfectly organized like pads, like everything from like heavy flow to medium flow to panty liners to like organic tampons to like super tampons to like other types of tampons. Everything you could need for your period was here, and it was organized from like color coded, like smallest to largest, like all of it. It was just immaculate in my opinion. And not only that, but she has like a way that she folds her towels too. And one of her laundry just smells amazing. Okay, it's just really fresh the way that she does it. She adds baking soda to her each load. So I started doing that, and now my laundry smells amazing and fresh. I'm like giving away all her secrets. But she also rolls her towels so you feel like you're at a hotel. They're basically the hostess with the mostest. It makes it really fun. So they'll give you the towels if you're gonna shower at their house, and they're like rolled up like little burritos and folded pretty. And you can basically look on Pinterest and find fun ways to fold your towels. But it's just like a little fun thing that adds to the experience of when you're visiting their home. Also, the home is just really comfy and cozy. It's like built for conversation and just spending time with each other. So the couch is very comfortable. There's like throw blankets, so if you get cold, it's just a really comfortable place to be. And so I definitely took note in that and how they've created that environment in their home, and Steven spoken to her about how she like really is like a nurturer in that sense. So take a note from that. I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna apply that to my own life because I like the way that they do these things, right? So that is something I think is important, feminine quality as a woman, to be able to create a home space, and so that other people can also feel comfortable in your space. So imagine like one day if you have like a significant other, a spouse, you want them to also come home, and imagine like coming home to a place that is like comfortable and clean and inviting and positive and kind of like a safe haven from the outside world. And even like as a child, I'm sure kids are very perceptive, and so even as a kid, if you can remember going into homes where you don't feel welcome or you feel like you can't touch anything because everything is too immaculate, versus being in homes where you feel comfortable and loved and cared for. And so wanting to create that environment in my own home, I really took note of what she does. One more thing that she does that I'm pretty sure all the women on this list do, but bake banana bread. Banana bread, like cooking is something that just makes you feel taken care of if somebody can cook something for you. But one thing about them, and I love baking and now I'm getting into cooking, but banana bread is like her thing and everyone knows like, oh my God, she makes the best banana bread. And so that's something when she's making banana bread and there's people over, then you get excited for it. So that's just like a really fun quality and something that I admire about her. It's like kind of like a form of love. Just like with my grandmother with dressing up and putting your best foot forward, that's like a form of self-respect, but then also respect to those around you. And same with maintaining your home. That's a form of self-respect because it brings you joy, but then it's also a form of respect for the people that live in the home and the people that are coming to visit the home. My heart is just like, it's just love. So that is number 2. And I'm just gonna make it more emotional as this goes on, but I have 2 more amazing to share, so don't go anywhere. Number 4 is one of my favorites. If you're enjoying this, make sure you hit the thumbs up right now and subscribe to see more videos like this one. And follow me on Instagram at Rebecca Eloisa. Okay, let's get into the next one. The 3rd feminine quality actually comes from my mom, my very own mother. I love you, mama. But basically, my mom makes everything feel special. That is her superpower. I'm telling you guys, birthdays, holidays, all of that. She's like the ringleader that gets everybody organized, that makes sure that we are doing some family activity for Thanksgiving, for Christmas, for the holidays, for birthdays, even if we're all burned out and tired and busy and obsessed with work and all that kind of stuff, and broke, like especially when like those college days, especially in those college days when you're just broke and you're like, I can't buy Christmas presents. Why should I celebrate Christmas now? Because I'm broke. She's like, nah, come home. We are going to make it special no matter what. And I can say that through my entire life as the oldest child. So since she's had children and my parents have gone through different financial situations of doing well to not doing well and all just normal life things, is that we've always celebrated special occasions. So she's like, life is short, so let's celebrate. I feel like this is a very feminine quality because it kind of goes back to the previous tip of like making a home. So one thing that my mom does, like whenever one of us comes home for like the holidays or my brother's living in another state, so if he comes home to visit, she always makes, so the first thing that I learned from my mom when it comes to creating special celebrations and celebrating a lot of things is we all have our favorite foods that she has nailed down to a T. So my brother loves Thanksgiving food. My sister like loves ribs. I love like tacos dorados and sopes and like caldo de pollo. And my mom, she'll make these dishes and meals for us to celebrate smaller like special occasions. Like for example, if my brother gets like, he got a promotion and was able to move states to go work at this like tech company, right? So she made like a whole like feast for him and like, what's your favorite food? Let's celebrate this. It's not going out to eat, but it's like, let me put my love into this food and make it just the way you like it, and we will have like our celebration at home, even if it's just a couple of us here. So cooking is one of those things that my mom is amazing at. And this is the crazy part, because I think anybody can make something taste good if you add like a lot of butter and like sugar and like all that kind of stuff to it. But my mom is also an almond mom, which means she's kind of a health nut. And so she'll make it like paleo, or she'll make sure all of the meat is pasture raised and the eggs are pasture raised eggs and from like the best places, and the water is like ultra filtered, and it's like, this is like non-GMO and this is organic. And so the food that you get is not only nourishing your soul, girl, it's nourishing your body. And that is just, to me, that feels like a superpower. And it's not even like, oh, we just like our food because we're used to it, but she'll make like beef ribs. Sorry to the vegans. I used to be vegan. I was that vegan girl. But she'll make beef ribs and has these like special ways and recipes that she does it, and they're fire. Everybody loves them. One time, boyfriend came over to our house, my mom made, I think, picadillo, and he was literally like, and I don't and this is the first time I've seen him do this. Like he ate the food, was like, this is so good. Got seconds and was like cleaning the plate. Got some bread and was like with the tortilla, like clean the plate clean to get all that sauce off. I was like, okay, so one, someone's hungry, and two, my mom knows how to throw it down in the kitchen, and you know her food isn't going to make you feel bloated and gross afterwards and heavy afterwards. So that's one thing. Another thing she makes are tamales, but she makes them like low carb tamales, which means she basically like puts less masa in the corn wrap and then more protein. So it's like high protein, low carb tortillas, and they taste fire, and you get extra meat, which is like the good stuff. She has foods that are like celebratory foods, and she'll spend her time actually in the kitchen making us like a Thanksgiving dinner or making us like tamales, things that take a really long time. My mom basically keeps us nourished and fed. This last year, she got into making balloon arches, and I'm just gonna say, like, she did her best. It didn't look like Pinterest, but the feeling of waking up in your childhood home and coming out to a balloon arch that may be kind of lopsided and stuff, but is like made from the heart. And she didn't have like the pump yet, and so she blew up all the balloons herself because she wanted to basically put a smile, like it was my little sister's birthday, on my sister's face, and like strung little streamers and had like the cake ready because she wanted her to wake up to it, and blew up balloons and stuff. And I will say that my parents are very modest people, and like our house isn't like those big huge Instagram houses or super Pinterest worthy. It makes me want to cry, like just the fact that like she spent time to blow up all those balloons and stay up late so that my sister, who was maybe going through a hard time in her life, could wake up and be excited and happy to celebrate her birthday. It's just like creating those moments and celebrating like those moments of beauty, of just life. It's like celebrating life's moments, even when everything's going crazy in your world. And so to me, that's something that is very nurturing. Another thing about my mom, and this comes with making things feel special, and just a bonus about her, I love my mama. I love my mama because I love my mama. She is extremely easy to talk to. She has a background in psychology and counseling and therapy and stuff, and so which probably contributes, but she asks you questions about yourself, which is actually pretty rare because people usually want to talk about themselves, but she'll ask you to remember things. How's this going? How's your relationship? How is your health? How are you feeling? And she will listen for a long time, like let you vent, and she never tells you what to do, like, oh, you need to do this, or you need to dump him, or you should do this, you should do that. But she helps you to arrive at your own conclusion of what you feel is best with your own intuition and within your own body. Even if she doesn't agree with it, she lets you arrive at your own conclusion and doesn't infringe on your space unless you ask her, like, what do you think? What are your thoughts on that? So that no judgment zone is pretty wild. Like you can tell her like something's super wild, like me, like, oh yeah, I'm quitting my amazing job in Hollywood and gonna go live in Bali for a couple months, like, peace. And she'd be like, well, that sounds amazing. Have you thought about what you might do for work? How's your savings account looking? Like she'll help you arrive at your own conclusions. And so that's something that's just, I think is just amazing, versus like, you're crazy, why did you say that? Like, why'd you do that? That's stupid. You work so hard for your job. Like that to me is pretty invaluable and is like an elite level of communication that, I mean, it's not me, but one day it might be. I might be able to be that amazing of a listener and communicator, but my mom, she's just got it going on. So that is just another amazing feminine quality that I love, is being able to make simple things seem special. And you kind of see this trend like on TikTok of like romanticizing your life. Like I was like, how to like romanticize your period? Like things that aren't very fun. How to make it special. And my mom does that. But it's not in like the super aesthetic, expensive way that we see online. But it's, to me, it's just very incredible. We're at the last one. Number 4. This feminine quality is that idea that women can be free to be their full, passionate, wild selves. Wild, passionate, sexy, fun, full of life and vibrant self. I love this one because I think I relate to this most. Of just like a wild woman. And one of my best friends is, in fact, a wild woman, and I love her so much for it because it reminds me to loosen up a little bit. Life is short. You want to make sure that you have your ducks in a row and all the important things, but you also want to be able to loosen up and just be wild sometimes and passionate and loving and crazy. And this is her. So here are some qualities that I've observed from her, and I will share them with you because they've helped me and I think that they can probably help you guys too. So number one is she laughs all the time. She's somebody whose pleasure level, like if out of 100, like she maintains like a solid, like if everyone else is like at like a 60% of pleasure, like she's probably at like a 75, like 80% pleasure of just maintenance. That's like her maintenance. So like her food, like she tastes. It's not just like eating her food just to eat and get calories and be full. She eats, she's like, oh, let's go get poke because like this one poke spot is so delicious and so bomb. Let's go. And so we're like, yeah, like it just makes you excited to go. And like the pleasure level of eating your food, like I said, it's not just eating to get calories or eating so you're not full and scarfing your food down. She's like, this is like my favorite type of fish. Like, oh, when you mix it with seaweed salad, it gets even better, and takes a bite and it's like, oh, this is so good. It's like orgasmic. That's probably how I can explain. It's like, oh my God, this is the best poke I've had in my entire life. It's just like the pleasure level is just so high. And so that is something that I think is important to maintain as you get older, because for example, as a kid, things are happy and fun and all that kind of stuff, but then life beats you down. If you're in like your job and your job sucks, or like your boss is mean to you or whatever, and you're stuck in like the monotony, there's inflation, the news is that things are terrible, there's wars happening in the world, right? But if you are able to keep your pleasure levels at a like higher and the normal have like a higher threshold, then overall your life will be more enjoyable. So it's like seeing the cup as half full, and it'll be like a sunny day, and instead of saying like, oh, it's so hot out here and complaining, she's like, oh my God, it's so warm. Like I can finally use my fan. And she'll like pull out like this like fan herself and just make it just, but like I can use my fan. And she's so excited about it. So it's like, it just makes you excited to be part of that experience too. She laughs loud and everybody looks and stares. And sometimes it makes people uncomfortable, but then other times people, it like makes them happy and they join in and they laugh too. And let me just say, with this friend, I feel like we match frequencies with our excitement and passion for life, because when we're out, we make so many friends. People will buy us like our meals at restaurants and give us like free things and want to come hang out and be like, where's your Instagram? Da, 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 da. And after we hang out with each other, like we'll have met like 5 other really cool people with on the same wavelengths. We just like attract. I feel like when we get together, it's like we like are like, we supercharge each other. We say we're soul sisters. One thing is like her grandmother, she's like one of the sole providers of her grandmother, and my friend is quite young, like we're the same age. And instead of it being like this big burden, which it's hard to be a caretaker, she makes time and schedules time. It's like, you know what, I'm going to take my grandma out this weekend so I can't hang out. And so her and her grandma will go like do something fun like that her grandma likes to do, like go to the casino or like go and have tea at like a nice hotel, like a tea hour. And she like makes the most of the situation, the cards that she's been dealt. And the thing, just like my grandmother, like I mentioned in the first one, she doesn't look like what she's been through. I'm just gonna say that. She is very strong and resilient and has experienced things that many people haven't experienced in life that would break somebody down in regards to just family, finances, friends, community, all those different areas that we all can struggle with. Like she's someone who has overcome and made the most out of the situation that she's been dealt. And that to me, coming out of that, just having that resilience and coming out of the very heartbreaking situations that she's gone through is so beautiful to me. And just so when we get together, she can make the most out of these situations, and then when we can laugh together and make friends outside and just be like charismatic and encouraging to each other, it's just fireworks. Like that's how it feels when we're together. And I think that's just an amazing quality to witness in somebody, to experience. And I see qualities just like in all these women that I mentioned and this friend that I would love to have and that I want to incorporate into my own life. So one of them is laughing. As another one, laughing at things, just keeping your pleasure levels high and being able to enjoy life. No matter if you're eating or hanging out with your grandma or having alone time, or even if you just went through a breakup. There's a time she went through a breakup and she's like, well, I'm really sad, but this is a good time to nurture my hobbies. Picks up painting and starts making these like beautiful pieces of artwork and giving them as gifts. Like, this was during a time when finances maybe weren't the best, but like painting these beautiful blue and gold and like nautical inspired art pieces and giving them to people on their birthdays when maybe she wasn't buying stuff for them because she's saving money for school or something. Or another time of being in a living situation that's not the most ideal and comfortable, but inviting me in and being like, hey, like, it's not the most comfiest place, but this is my room, this is my space, this is how I made it. Like, has pretty like Christmas lights hung up, has like her paintings on the wall, has like a quilt from her grandmother on the bed that just is, again, like not like all like Pinteresty and aesthetic and stuff, but is just beautiful in its own way. And it's beautiful because she makes it beautiful. And because she sees how amazing it is, other people want to join in. And she's someone who has a ton of friends and people always want to be around her. The message that I would take from this to share with you guys is to create a beautiful life for yourself that you really enjoy, despite the troubles that you've gone through, despite the challenges in your life, despite not looking, feeling, talking perfectly, without being perfect, right? Like, make the most out of what you have. And that is extremely attractive, and that will attract what's meant for you. You don't have to spend a lot of money doing it, but it's like making the most out of what you have. That is a feminine quality that I think everyone can benefit from, but it's very attractive in a feminine kind of way. So I hope I explained that correctly. To make the most from what you have, which everyone has done, all the women that I mentioned, they've all gone through some really difficult, challenging times, and despite that have still created this amazing lives for themselves. And then like this fourth one, or this third one would be keeping your pleasure levels high. So not being a complainer, not allowing yourself to fall into all the negativity that's in the world, but really kind of thinking high vibrational thoughts and making the most of what you have, just like with the sunny day and the fan. And something else about my friend, which I'm gonna say is getting a little long. One thing we're similar on, we're both very charismatic people. We love people. We're very people. And she said this to me one day. She's working on her boundaries, and that's like what I'm working on, setting boundaries. Because sometimes when you're nice, sometimes you feel like you're walked all over and you don't know how to set a boundary and say no. So it's good to practice that if you don't know how to do it. But she's like, yeah, people like us when we're like all happy and bubbly and sweet, but you can't just treat us like crap and expect us to stay happy, bubbly, and sweet around you. So if you want that, then you have to respect me. And she recently went through something with just like career and stuff and those types of relationships. And she had to set some boundaries, and out of that, they came to respect her even more. So not only are you this happy, nice, like pleasure-filled person, but if you know how to enforce your boundaries in a respectful way, then I think that life gets so much better. Whew, that was a lot. So we covered 4 very feminine women in my life, and who all have very feminine qualities, and they are outside of your stereotypical, like what you would think, like they wear dresses all the time and they talk like Minnie Mouse. Like, they're not like that. They've gone through stuff. Wow, I told you about them. I like teared up a little bit. With these, this is a gem. I'm gonna share this video with all of them, but these are gems, you guys, that I've collected over my experience of knowing all of these women, my friends, my mom, my grandmother, and I really hope that you're able to take some value out of these tips. So share this with a friend. Let me know which one in the comments. Let me know what you found most valuable. Go ahead and give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and let me know what types of videos you want to see in the future. Alrighty guys, I will talk to you later. Woo! And I gotta turn my heating pad back on. Bye.